I used to be her, unsure, not confident, completely prioritizing everybody else but myself. But then I made a few key changes, and then she emerged. In this video, I'm going to share 5 mental shifts that I made that quite literally changed the trajectory of my life. Number 5 is the most important, so you want to keep on watching till the end. Hey, gorgeous. My name is Natalie, Dean of Students here at the It Girl University, where we talk about glow up, health and fitness, beauty, fashion, all the things, baby. So if that's the type of content that you like, please consider hitting the subscribe button and turn on the post notifications so you are alerted every single time I upload a new video. So let's get started. Okay, so I feel like you guys are my girlfriends. So we're just gonna have a very honest conversation about how I completely changed my life and how I became the woman that I've always wanted to be, or who I was destined to be, really, okay? Because if you can envision yourself, your highest self, that means that's who you're destined to be. You just have to merge the actions of that woman, okay, with yourself now in order to meet up with her. Okay, so let's just get right into it. Let's just talk about this journey of becoming her. Have you ever just woke up with the urge to just completely reinvent yourself, to completely rebrand yourself? I've had that urge several times throughout my life. And when I didn't reach that goal and when I didn't become that woman, it took some time for me to recognize that it's because I wasn't doing the things that the woman who I was seeing would do. Because in order for you to become that woman, whatever it is about her, there's gonna be certain things that you need to do to become that woman. I have always seen this higher version of myself, even when it comes to appearance, how I wanted to look, how I wanted to dress, what I wanted my makeup to look like, what type of jewelry I would wear, what kind of mom that I would be, what kind of businesswoman would I be, what kind of partner would I be. There's always going to be these moments that you have where you are envisioning your best self. And the only way to get to that person is to do the things that person would do. And it's not gonna come about until you make certain mental shifts in order to zone into that frequency, basically, and start doing the things that you need to do in order to become that person, to become her. And that's what I did. So the very first thing that I had to do in order to get to where I am today, and I am still on this journey, I need to make that so clear, okay, that I'm still on this journey. But the first thing that I had to do was I had to envision it. I had to see a very clear picture of what I wanted to look like. I also had to see a clear vision of who I would be as a person. How would that woman walk through the world? How would she be of service to other people? What type of partner would she be? What are her dreams and aspirations? What are her goals? I had to visualize myself at my highest, okay? Down from the hairstyle to what I wear, to how I walk, to how I talk, to what I did, what type of mom I was, what type of businesswoman that I was. These are all the things that I had to really sit and think about and envision. And the best way to envision this is to take time to be in silence. I wholeheartedly recommend taking time at night before you fall asleep to just quiet your mind and start to envision the person that you want to be. You're not going to be able to do it while you're scrolling on social media. Sorry. It's just not going to happen, boo. It's not going to happen while you binge a series on Netflix, okay? So turn the TV off, put your phone down, lay down, close your eyes, and start to really, truly hone in on the woman that you want to be. Because she's there. But you're not going to be able to find her or see her or even get a clear picture of what she looks like until you quiet everything else around you. And this isn't a one-night thing. This is something that you're going to have to do every single night until that vision of that woman is so clear in your mind that you're like, yeah, yeah, that's who I want to be. In addition to, appearance, that's all good, right? That's fine if you want to look a particular way. I do think it's quite important that you look good and that you feel good, but gosh, guys, it is so not the most important thing. It is so incredibly important to work on your inside and really tapping into who you truly are at the core, because there is power inside of you and there is your true self, and that true self doesn't look like anything that you've ever seen. You cannot put a look to it, okay? It's something that is so magnificent and it's the true you. And when you tap into that right there, it really doesn't matter what you look like. You don't want to change your exterior without really working on who you are at the core, okay? Really tapping into the real you, the true you, okay? You really need to tap into that and really seek the source and go inward, because without that, baby, it doesn't matter what you look like, okay? You are going to struggle every single day. All right. So in addition to you envisioning what you look like, what you'll wear, you need to figure out who you are as a person. And you really need to try to tap into who you want to be. Do you want to be a powerful woman? Do you want to be a leader? How do you want to be of service to other people? Because being of service is a necessity, okay? You're not going to really get through life without being of service to someone in some way. And it's so fulfilling. So don't knock it. I'm not telling you that you have to be Mother Teresa. What I'm telling you is that in life, in order for us to gain anything in life, we need to be of service to others, okay? It's just the way of life. And if you look at yourself and you look at your environment and you look at your life, you'll realize that somebody was of service to you. And the only right thing to do is to be of service to others, okay? Step one, we're going to envision our highest self. We're going to use vision boards for this as well. I have been creating vision boards for years. However, I will say this past year for New Year's was one of the first times that when I created my vision board, there was such intense intention. I was extremely intentional and I was extremely specific. And I needed to do that this year because I started feeling the shift of me becoming her very strongly last year. And going through a lot of trauma can really be, dare I say, a good thing, because it's either going to make you or it's going to break you. In my case, that thing made me, baby. In my case, it made me, because it made me realize that I am stronger than I thought that I was. I always thought that I was pretty strong and that I can handle and I can take a lot of stuff. And I've been doing that. And I think I've been doing that gracefully. However, sometimes these things tend to break you down and you start to forget who you are. And I started to forget who I was. And then there was a shift that happened that made me realize, nah, baby, you need to utilize this. You need to look at your circumstances right now and use everything that's negative that's happening around you, instead of using that as an excuse to hibernate or to go hide somewhere or to cry about it or to sulk about it. I chose to use it as fuel. I chose to use one of the most horrifying years that I have ever had in my entire life. Every negative thing, every bad word, every horrible message, everything that was disgusting that was said to me meant to break me down, I decided to use it as fuel. I was like, you know what? Nah. You know what I'm gonna do? Not only am I gonna show you, but I'm gonna show me too, because I know I'm capable of so much more. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Y'all should have seen me making my vision board. I was so serious. I put so much intention. I knew exactly what I wanted. Everything from what kind of car I wanted to drive, ambitions, the type of money I wanted to make, the type of house I wanted to live in, what I desired in a partner, love, what I desired for my family, my children. I put all that down. And the feeling that I had, which I think this is the most important thing, is the feeling behind it. The feeling that you put. I don't think if you're gonna make a vision board, you should not haphazardly just grab stuff and be like, oh, I think this is cute, let me put that on there. No, I want you to take the time to really think about what you want. What are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? And specifically put those things on your vision board, okay? Get a cardboard, get one of those big cardboard like poster boards from Walmart for $3. I went on ChatGPT. I literally told ChatGPT what my goal was, what my vision was. It created visuals. I printed those, cut those up, and pasted it on my vision board, literally. And this was probably the best vision board that I ever made. And I feel like the intention and the feeling that I had while I was creating that has really put me in a place where I can see all of these things manifesting slowly. You know, they're coming into fruition. So create a vision board, do it with intention, and be extremely specific. Okay, so first things first, visualize. Okay, so the next thing that I did, the second thing that is so important for you to do is to set clear intentions and goals, okay? There's no way on God's green earth that you're gonna get to any destination without having a clear goal. You need to have an intentional goal, okay? So the best way for me to describe how I did it is I had categories of things that I wanted, okay? So career-wise or dream-wise or what I want to do, I want to do YouTube. I've been wanting to do YouTube since about 2009, 2010, okay? It's something that I've always wanted to do. However, you doubt yourself. You wonder if you can do it. There's so many things that can happen that can stop you from reaching your goal. But I've always wanted to do YouTube. I've been wanting to do this for a really long time. And I've done everything, talk myself out of it, start, stop. But this past year, I knew that I wanted to do it and I wanted to take it seriously because part of the reason why I didn't feel fulfilled is because I really wasn't following my true passion and my true goal. And what I've always wanted to do is get on YouTube and help other women and empower other women and uplift other women in any way, shape, or form that I can. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. Just if I'm that girl who just never gatekeeps on nothing, I'm not holding nothing in. Anybody asks me anything and I have the information for it, I'm going to share it because I love to see my girls win. So I always have wanted to do this. So I set a goal for myself last year that I was going to get back on YouTube and I was going to do certain things. I was going to plan out and I was going to map out all of these things and get back on YouTube. And that's what I did. But I had to set the goal and then I had to set in motion what I was going to do in order to accomplish that goal because it took time. I think I started back posting in March. Well, I had been planning my content since the year before that. Okay, I kid you not. So you're gonna have to set a clear, intentional goal. So business-wise or career-wise, or one of my big goals was to get back on YouTube. So I made that a goal and then I set mini goals and then I made sure I wrote down the steps that I needed to take to hit said goal, okay? So with that, I knew that. I also had a goal to lose a certain amount of weight. Well, I knew that I was going to have to eat a certain way. I was going to have to work out and I was going to have to do certain things in order to hit that goal, which I'm still on. I'm still on this fitness journey. So, but I have to know, first I have to know what the goal is, and then I have to know the steps that I need to take in order to get to that goal, because it's not just going to appear because I say that I want it, if that makes sense. Okay. So for anything that it is, like I've had skincare goals because I've struggled with my skin for years. So with that goal, I knew that I was going to have to talk to a dermatologist. I was going to have to get a prescription for certain things. I was going to have to come up with a skincare regimen. I was going to have to stay consistent on that skincare regimen in order for me to hit the goal of just having skin that didn't make me feel sad. And don't get me wrong, it's still a work in progress. It's still a work in progress. But I have come such a long way because I had a goal. It was a desire for me. And then I wrote down the steps that I needed to take in order to get to that goal. And it really is going to take that, okay? In every step of the way, whatever it is, I don't care what your goal is. You need to know what that goal is. You need to write that goal down, and then you need to write down the steps that you need to take in order to achieve that goal. That is so important. You're not going to get to her until you do that specifically. The thing about becoming her is that she moves a certain way. If she's super successful, if she's a millionaire, if she's married to, I don't know, just whoever your dream guy is, she moves a particular way. And you're gonna have to have a level of self-awareness to really ask yourself, to look inward and ask yourself, are you moving in that way? A lot of women have a list of the type of man that they want. They want a 6 foot tall or taller, dark, handsome football player, or somebody who makes 6 figures or more, or a millionaire or whatever. You've got a list that's a mile high. But the real question is, are you the woman that type of man wants to be with? It's the same thing with anything. If you are a woman who owns a business that makes her millions per year, well, then that woman does certain things to be a multimillionaire. Are you that woman? Do you have that level of discipline? Are you getting up and doing all the things that you need to do in order to be that person? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. And you can apply that to anything, okay? I mean, you can just use this in so many different ways. You know what I mean? You have to have the goals, and then you have to do the things that align with that goal. There's no way to get around that thing right there. And listen, guys, I'm talking to myself when I say this to you. You're gonna have a moment of self-awareness where you're gonna be like, am I doing those things, or am I just really like wasting away? It's so easy to do that. I was definitely wasting away. I wasted tons of years just literally watching everybody live their life and me not being at my full potential. And at some point, you're going to have to make a decision. And I made a decision. You know what I'm saying? This kind of leads me into the next thing that you're going to need to do, which is step number 3. You're going to have to go ghost. Okay? You might need to just disappear and then pop back out on folks when you've really made a change. And the reason why I say go ghost is because, for one, you don't need anybody else's opinions about what you're trying to do. You don't even need to discuss these goals with anybody else unless you can absolutely trust these people, unless you have a sure shot community of women that are on the same exact journey as you and are willing to uplift you and encourage you, which, by the way, we do have on our Facebook community for the It Girl University. I'll leave the link in the description box. We're all on the same journey. So if you want a community where you can really lean into and get the support that you need to make the changes that you want to make, then I highly suggest joining our Facebook group community. So yes, going ghost. I would say one of the best things that I ever did was just go ghost, especially on social media, and taking a very long social media break to the point where, honestly, I forget that I'm not on that break anymore. I forget that I'm not on that break anymore. If you notice, I don't post all the time on Instagram or Facebook or stories or anything like that. And it's because I went such a long period of time not opening the app. I actually deleted the apps off of my phone. They're like in the cloud. And they actually still are in the cloud. I don't have the icons for Instagram and Facebook on my phone in a folder that I can just open up every single day. I just don't. And the reason why I go on there now, like I go on Facebook because I have a community. Obviously, I want to interact with my girls and things like that. So I have to remember that I'm no longer on this social media break, but I took a very long social media break. And the reason why I did that is because I needed to control my mindset. I needed to control how I was feeling. And the only person who can control that was me. And if I let any negativity in, if I came across an article, a story, a post that might trigger me or upset me, then it would throw off everything that I was trying to do. So I didn't want to risk it. So I just deleted the apps, and that was probably like one of the best things that I ever did, because for one, it really kills that social media addiction. It really does. Staying off social media just really taught me that I didn't need it. I didn't need to get on there. I didn't have the time to look at what everybody was doing. To be quite honest, I already never watched the news. So because of that, there was a lot going on in the world that I just had no idea about. And I'm sorry, I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel like I'm not in the know or anything like that, because what was most important to me was my mental health and how I was going to reach these goals that I was trying to get to. I was just really laser focused. So anything that's going to upset me, piss me off, hurt me, I just wasn't in a space where I could hear those things and be okay. So I chose to go ghost, and I chose to just take a break. And I just focused on myself, and I also didn't go out. I really just was like a hermit crab. And I know for everybody, this isn't necessarily realistic, but I would highly, highly suggest a social media break, if not anything else, because social media, unless you can control your timeline very, very, very specifically, what you'll do is you'll take in a lot of the opinions of others without thinking for yourself. And it's so important to figure out for yourself what you like. What are your thoughts? What are your beliefs? I would just say, please do yourself a favor and only consume content that makes you feel good. Okay? Because it is so easy for people to push narratives on you where you don't even know what you like. You're unsure of what your taste is or what your beliefs are, because you're listening and you're hearing everyone else's opinions about what you should be doing. And I think it's so important for you to spend time with yourself, because I think if you do that, you will quite literally realize that life is free, and that you are free to have your own belief system, and you are free to live life as you please, whether good or bad. However, I would highly suggest more on the positive side. But life is free. And contrary to popular belief, there really isn't any rules, right? Like, there are some laws, right? There's some universal laws, but there's not really any rules. You can kind of do this how you want to do it. And when I say this, I mean life. You can do life how you want to do it, whether good or bad, but there's gonna be an effect one way or the other. If you want a positive effect, then you're gonna want to live life in a positive way, and you're gonna want to do positive things, and you're not gonna want to entertain anything negative at all, which is the reason why I say pause on social media for a minute, go ghost, and work on self. Okay? So important. Okay, so one of the next things that I had to do, and this was such a big one, you guys, and one that, if I'm being completely honest, I still struggle with slightly, but I'm so much better with it now than ever. And it kind of goes into point number 5, but we'll get to that in a second. But overcoming imposter syndrome was so instrumental in me becoming her, because imposter syndrome had me literally stuck. And it's something that a lot of people struggle with quietly. They don't really talk about it, or they don't even realize what it is per se. But I definitely struggled for years with imposter syndrome, just really second guessing myself, very unsure, or just thinking that I just wasn't good enough and I just wasn't capable enough to do things. So when I would be doing certain things, I felt like a fraud. I felt like, who, girl, please, you don't have anything to say. You don't have anything to offer. What are you doing? And those thoughts would creep up in my mind, and I would just slowly back away from whatever it was that I was doing or working on or whatever. And it's crippling. It's crippling, and it's so, so important to try and overcome imposter syndrome. And the way that I did it, honestly, you guys, affirmations. You literally have to feed your mind nothing but positivity. You can never, ever, ever entertain a negative thought, especially about yourself. And so my YouTube was just, if I watched a YouTube video, it was about like affirmations, self-improvement. Like when I went to sleep at night, I was just listening to something that was repeating positive affirmations about myself, about how strong I was, how capable, how smart, how beautiful, how ambitious. Any I am affirmations that were out there, I would listen to. And I also just had to wake up and look at myself in the mirror and say, girl, you got this. You got this. You can't keep living life thinking that you're not good enough. And guys, that was so hard for me to overcome. It still was a long journey because I was still working through a lot of things, but deep down inside, I was like, yeah, Natalie, like you got this. I was still just nervous and scared, and I still had these thoughts that would creep up, and then I would counteract those thoughts or push those thoughts away and immediately replace those thoughts with something positive, like you are capable, you can do this, you do have something to say. That's literally what I had to do. I kid you not. And slowly but surely, I really started believing in myself. I really started to believe in myself, and I really stepped into that place and space because it's like I psyched my mind out to believe that I'm that girl, and I can accomplish all of these goals with no issues, no problems. And once I did that, the last thing that I needed to do was I needed to lean in to my fears. I needed to overcome my fears, which is step number 5. Life is scary, guys, but I've realized that whenever I lean into something that's scary to me, what I want accomplishes on the other side of that fear. And the only way for me to get to it is to be scared and to do it anyway. And so if you're watching this and you have a dream or you have a goal and there's something that you want to do, but you're nervous or makes your stomach hurt or you think it's weird or you think it's odd, I'm here to tell you that you got to be scared, but you need to do it anyway. Because everything that you want is on the other side of that fear. And there's no way you're ever going to get to it unless you just lean into the fear. And so now, whenever I'm afraid to do something, for me, that's like confirmation that that's the direction that I need to go. Now I'm more comfortable doing things that I've never done before. I'm more comfortable doing it anyway, even though my stomach is in knots. That's a good thing for me. And you gotta kind of be in a place of not giving a damn. Honestly, you gotta be in a space of not caring what anybody thinks about what you want to do, because nobody has to live your life but you. And if you go through your entire life living for other people or thinking about what they may think or how they may feel, you don't even know these folks. Half these people that we're worried about, we don't even know. And even if we do know them, who cares? They don't have to live your life. You don't want to wake up one day with the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. You want to say that you have tried to accomplish everything that you can, and not only tried, but that you have. And the goal is going to be to persevere through anything. It's going to be to pivot. It's going to be to shift. Whenever something doesn't go your way, your job and your duty is just going to figure out how to get around that hurdle and to jump over it. Because there's going to be hurdles, baby. There's going to be obstacles. But there's got to be, because there's no payoff without hard work. And it's God literally trying to find out whether or not you truly do desire this. So there's going to be hurdles. There's going to be things that are going to pop in and happen and try to throw you off your game. There's going to be somebody who's going to see you and they're going to be like, she's doing too good. Let me throw a wrench in her game. Oh, she's so happy. It's going to be an ex who's going to be like, oh, she look like she's doing good now. Let me come in there and get toxic, mess that all up for her. It's going to be a test to figure out whether or not that desire, that goal that you want is truly what you want, and whether you're willing to stick to it. Because eventually you're going to get over the hurdle. I mean, it ain't gonna be fun. I'm not saying it's gonna be fun during that time, but then when you get over the hurdle and then you get to reap the benefits, you're gonna be like, oh, that's why I went through all of that. I mean, like, it's just, it is what it is. Like, life is gonna be hard sometimes, and sometimes it's gonna be a breeze. There's gonna be hills and valleys, and there's going to be times where you're on the up and up, and there's going to be times where you're going to go down. It's just life. One thing that I've started to recognize is that whenever things starts going left for me, or things seem bad per se, I start realizing that whatever that is that's happening is happening to me for a reason, to get me to my ultimate goal, the ultimate destination. So now when something crazy happens, instead of me getting all upset and pissed off, I'm immediately grateful. Thank you for saving me from whatever you're trying to save me from. Okay? And that's really how you're going to have to look at life. Like, everything that doesn't work out for you is still working out for you. I promise, because everything happens for a reason. Whatever your deepest desires are, God is trying to get you to that goal. And there's just gonna be certain things that have to happen in order to make it happen. And you don't need to know how it's gonna happen. Your only thing that you need to do is believe and trust and have faith. That's it. It's not your job to know how it's gonna happen. All you need to do is keep moving forward, scared or not. And after a while, that fear goes away and you're just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get out here and make the leap. I'm here to tell you to keep leaning into the fear and doing all of those things, being your true self, regardless of what anybody thinks, baby. Regardless of what anybody thinks. Lean into your fears. Okay? So yeah, guys, these are the 5 key changes that I made that literally, it really changed my life. My life is completely different than it was last year. And I feel like it keeps getting better and better and better. And although there's always going to be an obstacle here and there, I can't wait to see what the rest of this year brings me, because I do feel like I'm literally standing in my manifestations, in my dreams, in my goals, and I still have so much more to go. And I am still on this journey. It's so important for me to make sure I make that clear, because I don't want to sit up here and act like, oh, I've got my life together, everything is all perfect, I don't struggle with anything, my mindset is perfect. No, baby, I'm human. But what I do like to do is I do like to share with you what I've done thus far, because pictures don't lie. I'm a completely different person today than I was a few years ago. And these are the steps that I literally took to become who I am today. And I have new visions, and I have new goals, and I have new aspirations. And what I want to do is go on this journey with you guys, because we're all in different places and spaces. There's so many people that I admire and look up to. And for me, doing this along with my girls is just the best thing in the world. So I don't get up here to act as though I'm perfect or I have everything together, because baby, I don't. What I'm trying to do is show you what I've done thus far, and that we can take this to the next level together and then become the it girls that we know we are. Okay. So yeah, I thought that was very important for me to mention how I am very much on a glow up journey still. I don't know when that journey will end, because I have such high goals for myself. And if you're also on a glow up journey, then I think you should watch this video right here.